In this video, I'm going to show you lottery players for Ohio, how I set up and use the rundown generators for your state. So this is going to be a longer video. A lot of people in Ohio ask a lot of times what's the best generator. So I'm going to try to go through a few of these generators to show you the different results, and this applies to most of the states. So my setup is really simple, and what I do is, if I'm on Windows, I don't know that you can do this on a Mac computer, but you can try just to split the screen. So all I'm doing is basically on one screen I'm pulling up the lottery post and I'm going to the results, and as you can see here I have the all the states. Okay, and then my split screen I'm going to L Numeris Strategies.com, and you guys know how to get there, and that's just my second screen. So on this view I have the left side with the lottery post, and the right side I have the generator. Okay, so starting with the 063 generator from the pick 3, we basically we got this result here. Now I may change the screen a little bit just so you can see everything, and that's just me dragging it and expanding it. All right, you guys can do that. I don't have to teach you how to do that, but that's all I'm doing, because we got the quick stats and I want to make sure you see the quick stats, and that'll change. You'll understand why in a little bit. Well, that'll change because I'm not going to keep this sidebar open all the time. We may wind up here. All right, but I have the sidebar open right now just to demonstrate which generator I'm using. Let me try to do this, because we're not going to need the lottery post a lot. I just want to make sure you can see the whole area over here in the rundown, okay? Because I'll be coming back over and I'll be choosing a different generator, and all you're seeing is this area here changing when I switch. All right, so if you use the generators before, you know that is what happens. Okay. So just a little bit about the generators. If I'm going too slow, you probably want to fast forward, but this is for Ohio today, and it applies to all of the states. No matter what state you're in, just follow the same thing, just pick your state. All right, I'll probably do another one for other states, but let's just do this. Let's start with this one first. All right, if you're beginning for the first time, if you're new and you're trying to consider using the generators, then this video is for you as well. All right, this is going to be a slow one. It's not too slow, hopefully not too slow, but just the right pace for you trying to figure out what generator to use, how they work, how to understand them. So in depth is this one. This is for that person. Pick 3 lottery. And before you ask me, it can be applied to any state that has a pick 3 draw. Or if you're even in another country and you have a pick 3 draw, it can be applied there too. Okay, so little backstory again. The biggest question that is asked is, which generator do I use? How do I use it? A lot of people come to the site for the first time and they get confused. Even though there's a tour, like a product tour, it still confuses a lot of people, and then they wind up missing out on the opportunity to figure out how to use the strategy. All right, you're cheating yourself if you don't give it a few minutes. That's what I can tell you. All right, hopefully that was enough to start with. You can leave any questions or comments below and I'll try to answer them. Let's get started. All right, so like I said, you open up the lottery post and you find your state, and on the right side you just split the screen and have the generators open. We're going to start with 063. All right. A lot of people need to understand, or will learn hopefully in this video, how to use your mirror numbers and your flip numbers. If you look over here under the clear button, hopefully you can see the hover state, the finger pointing, where you have the mirror grid, it's already done for you. Most of the time you'll see videos where the person explains it to you, and you have to try to remember it. On every grid, the generator is always present in front of you, so you never have to guess. All right, little tutorial on the mirror grid. You got 0 through 4 on the top and 5 through 9 on the bottom. And very simply, the mirror grid is the number plus 5. 0 plus 5 is 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. 2 plus 5 is 7. 3 plus 5 is 8. 4 plus 5 is 9. That is the mirror grid. The flip grid is 0 plus 3. All right, so you can do the math on that one. Okay. Let me explain the screen to you so you can understand that. This first section over here is the number grid. We call it the number grid. That's where your results come up. These are where you find your numbers for your plays. Okay. The next section over here under hot numbers is when the generator kicks out numbers to the grid, it'll show you all the numbers that are related to your new draw that you're going to pick. Okay, they'll be connected to your day sum and your day sum mirror. So today's date is added up for you already. Your day sum is already added up, and it equals 3. So if you could, I don't know if you can see the bottom, but today's date of this video is 8/15. All right, so you do the math. 8 plus 5 is what? You do that math right there. All right, and that'll give you the day sum of 3. All right, so you don't worry about the first lot. 8 and 5 is 13, correct? You just drop the 1. In lottery math, you don't keep the first digit, you keep the second one. All right, some people do 8/15 plus the 20/26. You can do that, but we're doing just the day plus the month. And in this case, it will be 3 because 8 plus 5 is 13. You drop the 1, you drop the first digit, and it gives you 3. Now, the mirror to that is what? If the day sum is 3, look at the mirror grid, and it's 3 plus 5 because the mirror grid is the number plus 5. So 8 plus 3, 5 plus 3 is 8. So that's the mirror. If that's not clear, it's going to be clear in just a minute once we do a generation. Okay? So hopefully that is clear. Over here in this section, it's called the quick stat section. So what that basically is it's going to help your strategy, where it gives you breakdowns of the runs, how much it's going to cost per ticket, the science behind it, which most of you players who are enthusiasts, you look for how to strategically place your bets, get the most for your money so you don't spend too much. It helps you stay on a budget. It's for people who play smart and responsibly. All right, I've noticed that a lot of players that use the generators are coming in trying to get rich quick. This is about strategy. This is about skill. You know, if you know how to do that, then this is for you. If you're coming in thinking, oh, my number didn't come out in hot numbers, this is not for you. This is not for you. This is one of those things, you get better at it the more you do it. So you have to put the effort in, and you will see results. You'll get better results. You get locked in to the zone, and you'll be able to see things better, because it's like a view. You look at something, and if you're skilled with something, you can look at it and you see it. You kind of figure it out. Like when you're driving, you know how to get someplace. This should say that you'll be able to navigate better to get better results. All right, let's continue. So the next thing we're going to do is, hopefully I explain the basics for you. And if you really want to know how to read the quick stats, all you do is click on the help, and it'll bring it up here. It'll break down every section. I'm not going to go through this because you need to read it and understand it on your own. But like I mentioned, It tells you everything about how to use the quick stats help, all the fields. Okay, once you go through it, keep going back to it if you need to, but you click got it when you're done and it'll close it down. All right, so hopefully that made sense. The next thing I want to explain to you is you have these favorites over here. All right, and in this favorite section, you can stack up the generators that you use. Now, for the generators that you use, how to pick them, you are only going to find that out and figure that out when you find one that is hitting in your state all the time. Different months or different times of month, the generator may work better, or you might need to use a different generator or a combination of generators for your state for that month. So this month it might be the 063 that's hit for you, or this week it might be 063. You're going to know that because you'll see your combination come out. In this example, when we start going with the example, we're not there yet because the backstory it needs to be told, because a lot of people get very confused, and I hate to go slow, but once you figure this out, once you understand it, then you'll be able to use the generators better. But if you want to save the ones that are working, you just click the heart and then it'll keep all of your generators up here. See, favorites, and it'll be here. You can see all your favorite generators. It'll filter for that. All right, see, it says no favorites yet, and once you start collecting your favorites, then they'll be there and you can just filter by that. If that made sense, hopefully. Okay, so what we're going to do on this side is we're going to use the calendar and not a repost. You can use the day by day, but I like to use the calendar because it gives me everything that was played for that month. All right, so like I said, we're going to go in Ohio and do this. All right, and we're focused on pick 3. Now this whole thing, again, it can apply to pick 4 and pick 5 if you need to, if you want to. So you do the same thing, just do the same methods. For whatever state you're in, you can use this on pick 3, 4, and pick 5. All right, so I'm here, and I'm going to go to pick 3 calendar. All right, and you see again we're in Ohio, so I'm going to scroll all the way down to this month. And the reason why this is helpful because you get a month at a glance kind of thing. All right, so hopefully you can see this. I'm going to try to zoom and see if it gives you a better. That cuts it off a little bit. We're going to do that. All right, so you see August 2026, and just so we're clear, my examples in this video is going to start from the beginning of the week. You do not have to follow it and do it the way that I'm doing. If you want to and it helps you, that's fine. But what I'm trying to show you is from the top of the week, if any of our numbers come out. Okay, if you want to just go with one day and look forward, that's up to you. All right, but I'm going to show you starting with the beginning of the week in this example. I'm not going to do every single day. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but I'm going to try to show you that if you start from, for example, 9:47 on the 9th, that is going to be the midday. The top number is the midday. Obviously, the bottom is the evening. All right. So that's the first number we're going to put in the generator, 947. Okay, and we're going to use the 063, and we're going to see if this generator is for Ohio. All right, so here we go. 947 in the generator, 947. No sleight of hand. I'm not going to pause the video. So you guys think that, he paused it, that's why it came out. No, whatever comes out right now is what it is, and I'm showing you from the beginning of the week. Okay, here we go. So we're going to generate the rundown. Okay, so as you can see here clearly, our page is populated and we have some things going on here. So I want you to be able to see the quick stats. So remember we're on 063 and that's here at the top. So I'm going to, like I told you earlier, I'm going to close off this side so you can see everything as best you can. And let's try to stretch the screen out just a little bit more so you can get that whole view of that quick stats. Well, let's say there. All right, adjust your screen as you need it. Okay, now we're going to be able to also scroll up and down because we need to look at the related combinations. Okay, so let's go over this part. So we put in our 947 from Monday, right? Sunday rather. We're in Sunday, 947 on the 9th. Okay, that was the number we generated from our midday. And our grid populated using the 063. Okay, so if we look at the grid now, the number grid, we'll see our day sum. It's showing the mirror only of it, the 8. If you want to, you could turn it off and on so you could see the day sum and the mirror. Now, you see which red? That is controlling that. All right, so if I do all, we'll see that it turns on the mirror grid. Okay, hopefully that made sense. All right, some people like it off, some people like it on, but I'm going to explain to you how that works. Okay, now you don't see a lot of 3s in here because there are no 3s in the workout for the 063. When I show you the next generator, you'll probably see that day sum lit up along with the mirror of the day sum. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. But there's no 3s in today's draw. There's only the mirror of the 3. Okay, ask questions. Before we go any further, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Like this video and subscribe so we can push this out. Okay. All right, so there's 1 3 in this whole rundown. Now, one thing before we go that I need to point out too is consider this grid split in half. It actually mirrors itself. Okay, and I'll show you it mirrors itself up to, I'm gonna try to get it here around to here. Let's see, 0 right about there. I don't have a tool to draw a square around it, but the 947, let's just say that's the top line. Exclude that, and you'll see here, if you look down, the numbers will repeat. Look at the right side. 0 3 6 9 2, right? That's the first part of the grid. It's 2 grids. The reason why I know that is if you look at the next set, 5 8 1 4, and it gets back to the 9 7, it's a mirror. Look at the 0, come down here, you got the 5, you got it. You see the 3, you got the 8, you got it yet? You see the 6, you got the 1 right here, and you got the 9, and you got the 4 right here. Okay, so the second half of it is the mirror of the top. Got that? Okay, so you can work off of just one half if you want to, but the second half of the screen is the mirror of the top, and you can always tell it by doing exactly what I did. And that's 0. You come and find the 5 because that's the mirror. It's telling you right here. Like I explained in the beginning, 0 is 5, 1 is 6, 2 is 7, 3 is 8, 4 is 9. You got it right here. 0, 5, 3, 8, 6, 1, 9, 4. That's this split. Once you understand it, it'll be real easy for you to understand the mirrors and the flip numbers too. I can see it at a glance. Okay, I use the last column to determine that most of the time too. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to see if 6:50 came out, which is the evening. All right, and the way we do that is we're going to put it in and check and see if it's in the grid. So we do that by going down here and we click that right here. Check if draw result was in grid, and we type in 650, 650, and as you can see, it's telling you. Let me adjust the screen so you can see it, where it shows you it's found 4 times in this grid, and you can see the angle that's showing you. See it? 600 is 650 because we use the mirror numbers. All right, 650 is 600 because 0 is 5. This is how you understand how to use your mirror numbers. All right, it's found 4 times. Now it's not in the hot numbers. You didn't see it in the hot numbers, but it's there. And 90% of the time, you're going to find your hits or your plays. Let me not call them hits. Your plays, they're going to be between the day sum and its mirror. Now we have it off right now. We're going to turn it on and watch this. You can already see it if you look here, because here's the 3 and it's connected. It's going to be connected to it, right? So let me turn it on. Okay. So if there were more 3s here, it would be between the 3 and another 8, for example. But it's right here, connected to that day sum. It's always going to be connected. Your plays are going to always be connected to one of them. Not both, but one of them, at least one of them. And it might be sandwiched between both of them. So let's hit next. And we'll see that 650, see right there by the 8, which is the mirror of the 3, it's going to be touching it. If it's not between the 2, it's going to be touching it or touching both somewhere in there. So if you're looking at your grid, you're going to be able to determine that. It's always going to be connected. You may not see it in the hot numbers, but it always is connected. And if you look down here in the related combinations, scroll down a little bit, you might look here and see 650 is in here, because this is the mirror plus flip. There's 27 combinations here, and it's telling you, well, let me explain this better. It's going off of, this part is going, related combinations is going off of 903, which is also, this is 4, this is 5, and this is 8 as well. But let's just look. Let me scroll down a little bit so you can see it. By selecting these related combination pills, here these are called pills, we might find the 650. We might find it as a mirror or flip, or a combination of mirror and flips, but it might be here. Okay, you have to look for it. We still don't see it here, but you might. Okay. We could see it if it's down here as well. Using these different styles, these different strategies to find it. It may be found in one of these. All right, so hold on. We're gonna have to pause for a second. Let me pause this for a second. All right, so that's what you could use that for, to find out related combinations in there. All right, so let me continue. Let me scroll back up. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is, in this grid here, if we select one of the hot numbers, we'll see that down here that the related combinations are going to change as well. And that's what that's for. So you see up here it says 989. If you just hover your mouse over it, if you're on a desktop, it'll show you that there's 40 paths for this. And you'll see it over here in this section here. The combo is 989, and it's telling you this is a 1 pair 3-way, and it's showing you the box odds, and there's 40 paths, so it's the same thing. If you change the number, it'll do the same thing, 984, and it'll tell you your odds. 489, it'll tell you how many, so you could hedge your bets on using that. And down here, it'll break down. In this section, like I said, you use the quick stats. This will break it down for you how much your tickets will cost to play, so you're not guessing how much when you get to the counter to buy your tickets, how much you should spend. You can work all that out in advance. Okay, if you scroll down to the bottom of the screen here, you get more pattern distribution in your primary grid. Again, read the help here to understand it better for yourself. Just because I'm explaining it my way doesn't mean you understand it my way. Okay, if you click here, you'll get more plays here. We've had people ask, how do I get more? You can just do that. It'll populate itself. You'll see it here if it has more. So you can do that. All right. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of this, you'll see the top grid targets. These are, if you're trying to figure out what numbers to work with for that day, you can just go here and it'll give you the top 5 numbers it thinks you should go with. It'll give you, if you want more, it'll give you the top 10 or it'll give you the top 20. So for example, we're not going to stick to this, but I'm just trying to show you. Down the bottom you have Tremors here, and that's basically going to give you a breakdown of your numbers. It's going to break it down so you don't have such a big list to go and play. So for example, if I click this button, I just want to show you that they're here in this sidebar. I'm going to close it. But what this does is, and I'll get back to what I was talking about with the grid itself, you can take these and you can move them over to a tremor, and it'll bring all those numbers in. You see them here, 989, 984, all those numbers. It'll bring them all in for you, and then you can start generating based on the numbers here that you picked. It'll be your numbers. I'm not going to go over this, but it's just, here's what it does in a nutshell. It narrows your field, right? And it lets you filter on the numbers you chose, and it'll rank what repeats. It'll cut it down. It will cut it down. And I'm not trying to push you on anything, but you probably want to get the premium membership to do this, so you have unlimited generation, so you could really play with it. And this again is for the people who are into the strategy of it. So these are the different modes that you can start from. In our mode, we're going to start from the numbers from our list that came from the generator that we used. All right. So basically what it's going to do, once you click generate, it's going to take what you have in that box. It's going to filter them down. You see that? It filtered them down. All right. I'll cover this more in another video, but for now I just want to show you that it's available. If you understand what do they call them? They call them by a different name too. We're calling them Tremors, but they're deflating. This is where you can deflate your numbers as well. See, because it's telling you that tier 3 or tier 4 is 4 times, because it knows the different ones, the different ways this number will come out. So 289 is showing you could be 982, 289, 829. 928. It shows you that. See that? It's really plain and simple. Also, it shows you tier 3. It appears 3 times. There's 3 different combinations, which is 489. It could also be 984, 489, and 849. Okay, and then as well, you see there's 2 different plays for each of these numbers. So you have the 039 would be 903 or 309. All right, it could also be these other ones, 239, 329, and 923. You can see it right here. All right, hopefully that makes sense. And this section over here, it tells you here that each group starts switched off. So you have these different options of how it is structured. All right, these are off, and how to turn these on is you simply just go down here and you pick one. You add a number and it'll turn itself on, you see, and then you have to regenerate that. Yes, each one does cost you a generation. All right, but this is another video in itself. All right, so let's go back to the generator for 063. All right, hopefully all of that made sense. Okay, I was pointing out that you could use the related combinations to find your number to see if it came out, and it might have been in there. All right, so what we're seeing right now is that for Ohio, that the 063 generator is not yielding any results that we like, and I'll prove that by showing you this. So we know we didn't see 650 hit. It didn't light everything up. So let's try to see if 060 comes out in that, and we're going to do that by just putting that number in for the next midday, which is 060. And what's funny is that if we look at 650, 060 is the same exact number because it's a mirror of it, right? We got 5 and 0, and then the next play we have 0 and 0 because 0 is the mirror of 5. So it actually played, it came out right there. You can see 060. We get the same amount of paths, and it's in that same cluster. All right, if we go through, we hit next, we'll see that same cluster. Remember, I told you that the grid itself actually splits because it's a mirror of itself. And we'll see 060 in there. So we got the 4 paths in there. And this related combination is going to be exactly the same. And if you want to look at it at a glance, you can just look down here and see if there's 2 zeros anywhere. All right. If you see a play with 2 zeros, then you would have hit. All right. So if we just page through here, and at a glance, we're just looking. Are there 2 zeros anywhere? No. No 2 zeros. All right. Here, we got close here. So look at that. 002, 003, 004. So somewhere in there, we might have that play now. So we'd be looking for 001 would probably be something we're looking for, and that would be the same as the 060 or the 05, the 650, because of how mirror numbers work. All right. And then we look at the sum 15, and we don't see that. Actually, we do here. See the 156? That's the same thing, because 1 is 6. Actually, no, we're not, because the 1 and 6 are the same digit, but we're close. All right, so let's move forward, and let's say 319. Just remember, we started with 947. We're still using 947 to see if this generator is for this state this week. So 319 would be the next example. I'm not going to go through the whole week, but I just want to try to get you to understand the process. So 319 has 10 paths using this generator. So let's see if 319 is there and how it's there. So it's there 10 times. Let's look at the grid to determine that. We're going to turn these on and see. I want to explain these green numbers a little bit. These are also part of how the number grid works. You also find your numbers, your picks that you're going to use. They'll probably be connected in here as well if you turn this on. As you can see, that number 319 is sandwiched between those. It's connected to all of those. If you turn it off, you don't see it as much, but if you turn it on, you'll see it's connected to that day sum, and that combination is right connected to all of them. This is valuable if you know how to use it. See, it's there. See, it's there. Again, connected. You see how it's connected? It's sandwiched between that 3 and that 8. Right there. So again, you see it's touching it. That's how you find your numbers. Right there. See, it's between those numbers. This whole section, this mirror grid right here, it's all connected right here. Look at that. When you go down, it's all connected, it's all touching. That's how you find them. It'll be touching just like that. So that number would have been a safe bet for that week. If you play your numbers in advance, it would have been a safe bet. All right, let's move to the next one. And that's going to be 901. So if you want to clear this out, and you want to put 901 in there. And we can look at this now. You're trying to pick up patterns of how the mirrors work. So another variation of 901 could be 401, or it could be 456, or it could be anything like that. All right, you can prove that to yourself by putting that number in the trimmer. It'll show you the different combinations of 901. All right, as we saw. And if you want to prove it, here we go. We'll jump over there. I'm just going to copy that number out. Now, this to me is a waste of a credit, but let me prove it to you. Some people get confused with it. And we'll go to the Pick 3 trimmer, and we'll give ourselves some space to work with. I'm going to clear this out, and I'm going to put that in the trimmer right here, and I'm going to generate it, and I'm going to prove to you what I just said. Okay, so (901) has this is not showing you the mirror of it. I'm just showing you the point of 901 can come out also 019. There's no other way, like just using these numbers, it could come out, but it'll show you just what my point is. This, if I put in here, I know another way it might come out is 401. It could come out. It could also come out 456, because I'm doing mirrors of that. If you count in your head, you could also do the flip. 9 plus 3, 0 plus 3, 1 plus 3. That'll give you the flip of that. Okay, but I like to take the number straight out of the generator once it does the work. You could do this if you want to use this. It's just another strategy to add on. I just wanted to show you that. Okay, so we were checking to see if our number was in there, and I believe we were using 901, which is that. All right, so we wanted to see here if 901 was in the grid, and it's there. Let me scroll up so you can see it. And you can see 901 was found 10 times in the path. And we could use our quick stats. If we want to scroll down and get that group of numbers to paste in, we could do that here. And we could send those to the trimmer, the top 10 numbers, the top 20 numbers. And they'll be mirrored and they'll be flipped as well as in here. And again, you could use down the bottom here to see if those numbers are in there as well. Okay, I could go through every single one of them, but it doesn't make sense for me to go through every single one of them, because you could see it for yourself. You just have to read it. You have to learn how to read it. All right. Once you figure out your strategy, you're gonna be like, "Oh man, I didn't realize how powerful this is." It's one of those things. All right, I'm trying to move this so I can get to the next generator to see if it's a better generator for this state for this week. So we know that 901 is found 10 times. So this generator is kind of hot, but you have to count on, you know, the mirror numbers and the flips to find your strategy. You gotta play with it. And you notice I'm not using a lot of generations here. I'm not doing that a lot. I'm staying on the same number. All right, this is to build your list for the week. And here's a little trick where it doesn't cost you generations. If you want to do it in the beginning of the week or midweek, you could go in here and you could change the date. Where is it at? Oh, it might have gotten taken out. You could just change the date and it'll give you a preview of the week. All right, so let's go to the next one. We're going to look for 195. We'll search that number in here, 195. And we'll see that 195 found 4 paths in it. And say it out loud, or put it in the comments. What is the mirror to 195? Just look at it, 195, and look at your grid. You should have came up with, it could have been 640. That could have been a number. Okay, let's see if that number is down here anywhere. right here. See it? 640 came out 6046. See, it's there. You could look for 640 again. It could have been, let me just highlight this over here in the calendar. 640 could have been 145, could have been 140. Any combination of that, it could have been. Okay. So you just have to know how to read those numbers. So was 195 in there? Yeah, it's there if you look at it as a combination, a different combination. Let's look for the next one. Let's see if 858 was in here. It's 858. All right, so 858 was not in this play for that day, and that's okay because they're not guaranteed to be there. All right, they're not guaranteed to be there. So 858 was not on this one, so that's going to happen. You're not guaranteed. And let's do one more before we switch to generator. We're going to look for 298. And we find that 6 times in the path. And we can look up here to see that as well. See, it's in that little cluster at the top. And again, if we turn these on, we'll see that 295, I'm sorry, how about I put 295 in there? 298 is in it 10 times, even better. Now, did you notice something? Right here in the hot numbers, look at that. That number would have hit this week, 298, using this generator. This is your biggest tell right here. Look at that 298. It lit up. If you look at them, you can see the mirrors and the flips. Right here, you got it boxed. Right here, you got it boxed. Right here, you got it boxed. Straight, you got it right here. 289, or it's still boxed here. Right here, boxed. If you would have played that number this week, that's what you're looking for right here. You would have hit that day. Okay, you starting to see what's happening here? 10 paths. If you see 10 paths on a number, that's good. That's a good sign. And that number is all up in these combos for this top 10 and the top 20. That number is all up in here. If you see that grid lit up like that, that's how you know what to play. So, which numbers should I play? When you see it light up like this, these hot numbers, that's the numbers you should be playing. Okay? And your research. All right, let's go to the next one. So remember what you just saw here. When you see that, that's your play. You do not have to use the calendar to figure that out. Okay, you can put any random number in here. Let me show you. So basically here, see it's got the 506 and that 8, oh, right, just in this area. Remember, this is a mirror. This whole cluster right here, where you see the green and the blacks and the yellows, that little cluster, that's a sign of where you should be at. All right. This 929, if you look here, 929, it's there. This is before the draw even comes out. You could just look. If I took away the calendar and I just showed you this grid by itself, you should be able to look in here and see that that's a number. You're seeing all those 9s and those 2s and those 8s. That when you see those repeating numbers, those are going to be your hot numbers. Watch this. Let's just put in 929 just as an example, because we see 929s coming out and we can see it here in the grid. 929 is there. Watch how many times it comes out. 9. Look at that. 2. 9. All right. Surprisingly, it's not in the hot numbers, but we know it has 28 paths. But we see it came out. It wasn't a generator in the hot number section, but what I'm trying to point out to you is that you're saying that, how do I know what number to play? When you see it found 28 paths on your own, because you're not going to know what that next play is going to be. The grid is telling you, it's speaking to you. It's speaking to you clearly that there's a lot of 9s in here. There's a lot of 9s and 2s It's connected to sixes. 926, 968. You see it? Do you see it? All around those clusters. 906, 960. You see those clusters? It's telling you what to play right there, just like that. 989, 984. And then you have the mirrors of that. Those are your plays right here. That's how you know what to play. 28 paths is telling me something. Okay? And if you want to try to figure it out, especially if you're on a desktop, without going through every single one, trying to do every single, just hover over it. 40 paths in that number. But we can see clearly there's a lot of paths for that number. I would play that number, and we can see 929, and 929 is also going to be 474. It's also going to be 972, 979. It could be 974. It's all right there. But we're seeing it here. 942, which is 974. You see that right down here? 947 is there, but the 929 is there. 929 right there in front of you. That's a good number. All right, look at the grid now. Let's clear this out. And let's just look at the next one, which was an evening, which is 139. All right, look at the grid without putting a number in there. Do we have any 139s? Do you guys see any 139s? You can look at the grid and tell. The way you can tell is you got 1, 8, and 9 that you need to look at. And the mirrors of that is 4, 3, and 6. There's a cluster of it right here. It's here. There's clusters of it. 139, let's put it in because it was 319 earlier. See that? 139. 10 paths of it. You can find the paths, just click next. Okay, you can see it's connected. It's not strong as the other one was, but you can see it's connected to that mirror of that day, which is that 8. All right, and we'll use the 756. Let's look at 756. Let's clear it out and look at 7s, 5s, and 6s. Well, we got 6s, we got 2s that are 7, and we got 5s that are 0s. So it's fair to say that that cluster is there too. All right, so let's put it in there, 756. They got 4 paths, but look at that cluster and look how they're connected. Let's turn these numbers off. I don't really see it. How do I figure out if that's a good number? Well, let me turn on all the mirror numbers. And if that's around there, look at that. It's all lit up. I will be playing in this section here where they're all lit up and connected to it all around this section. Make a box in your mind or write it out or get a tool from your computer and circle it, copy it and work with it with I don't know, paint or something like that. Draw a square around it or write it on a piece of paper. That grid right there is hot. Even though the number's not in the hot numbers, it's somewhere because it's telling you got 4 paths to it. And you look right here, it's telling you. Now that we know that more than 10 paths is a better play and it'll light up the hot numbers, we could say, so this is weak. But remember, you've got to remember that this is the 063 generator. We haven't even looked at other generators to see if it came out. Okay? All right, let's quickly look so we can switch to another generator and we'll start from the top of the week. Look at the 709. Again, without turning on anything or putting any numbers in, looking at the grid as it is, do you see 709 using your flips? I see it all over the place. 709. Remember the 2 is the 7. 5 is the 0. Here it is right here. 709 right here. The 2 is the 7. Here's the 9. The 0. All right. Let's see if it's in there. It could be in mirror form. Let's do 709. 10 paths. The number came out on the 14th. So that would have been a decent play. Again, we can go down here and if you want to, it's not a rule. It's options. That 709 could be right down here. If you mirror flip it and you go through and figure it out. Read. You got to read it. Okay, it's not guaranteed. It's not. This is, you got to earn this. I know some people don't like to hear that, but you got to look at it. The more you do it, the more you understand it, be quicker. All right, you just got to know those mirrors and those flips. 709. I'm looking for 4s and 9s. If I want to do a quick 4s and 9s, right down this grid down the bottom, I'm quickly looking at a 4s and 9 right here. All right, it's not our number, but we're looking maybe 709 is right here. That's 5, which is good. We don't have, but we have that 4 and that 9 pair. So let's see. I don't want to stay here too long because I could be doing it all day. 709. You just got to know the mirror of that one. But we're seeing it here. Let's go up here. Hope I'm not confusing you guys. I know it's a lot, but you saw what we're looking for. The goal we're looking for is that hot numbers to light up with a lot of paths. And again, if you came in late, if you jumped around, you could look here. 482 was a good pick. 20 paths. 20 paths. And you can look over here in the paths right here in the quick stats. You can do a quick way of doing it because you see these first 3, they got 40 paths in them. So you could just go by that too if you wanted to. You can skip past all of trying to look at it. Just open up the quick stats and you can look right here and say those are strong numbers. There's 40 paths in that number and those numbers, and we saw before that those numbers hit. That 984 is there. All right. And the last one is 651, which is today. All right, let's turn it off. Let's clear it. So we're not even gonna put in 709. We could, but we just worked off. We're still working off the top of the week. And let's look in here. Hold on a second. Yeah. Okay. So we're looking for 651. Do you guys see 651? I see it. 165. This right here, 660 is 1652. Right here, the 651. So let's just put it in just so you guys can see it. 651 is today of this recording. The day of this recording, that's right now. 651. Here it is. Right around. See, I keep telling you. See these mirror numbers? It's right there. When you see that cluster of colors right here connected to the hot numbers, it's right there. Okay, right here. You can see it. It's saying it's not in the grid because it's today, but it's right there, clear as day. So, how do I know which numbers to play? And we're going to switch this. We're going to end this video here. We're going to come back with another video. We're going to do another generator on the same thing, the same week. Okay, so. The question that I just said was, you asked me, how do I know what to play? I hopefully answered that question for you in this video. Okay, look at your mirror in your day sums. The day sum is 3. The mirror to that 3 is 8. We can look in the mirror grid to confirm that. The mirror to 3 is 8. It's lit up in the grid. I'm showing you, right? What number should I play? You got the 0, the other parts of the number grid to show you. Right here, these are lit up. It's right here. I'll be playing this. So by all of those assumptions, 657, right? And this uses 947 as a start. I have not changed this. So I'm not generating just to be generating. I'm doing it with strategically. I know that I would probably, for tonight's draw, I would be playing for tonight's draw, the 15th. 651 came out. Looking at those clusters. I'd be looking at 218. I'd be looking at 968. You could do 605, 058. Just look in the cluster. 906, 699, 965. Any of those numbers, 921, 148, 821, any of those combinations, anything in this area, I'll be playing because it's all lit up here. All lit up and connected. And at the top, it's another version of it. See, 900, 905, same number. 968, 963, same number. 921, 926, same number. This is telling you we should be playing 989, 984. Anywhere in there, you can narrow it down, but anything in here, I'd be playing. All right, be sure to like and follow. Give me some feedback in the comment sections, and share this video. And we'll be back in the next one. Hope this helps. See you on the other side.